Who are we waiting on?
I'm waiting on the YouTube to connect, and I don't know.
Mine says meeting is now streaming on live on YouTube. That's what it says on the top.
Perfect.
And mine says streaming.
Okay, can I exit out of here or should I?
Where? No, just go back to your Zoom. Yeah, just leave that up and go to Zoom. No, up there.
Rick, what are you eating?
Okay.
It was chocolate peanuts.
Make it big.
Yeah.
Minimize the other screen.
Oh, nuts and chocolate.
That was my picture I gave Kelly when we first got together.
It was awesome, Beth.
That was my picture I gave Kelly when we first got together.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, who are we missing? Everybody here?
I think everybody's here.
Okay, Mayor, you want to go ahead and open it back up?
You're on mute, Charles. You're on mute.
How's this?
There you go.
At work?
Yes, sir.
All right, what did you ask?
Do you want to go ahead and open it up, back up to open session?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is 7:22. And we're going to reconvene our open session and take any action regarding the matters which are the subjects of the above agenda. Close executive session. So we're back in business again. Don't have to open the doors or anything. So let's see where we are. Our consent agenda, let's get that done. You ready? G is the city council special emergency meeting on March the 19th, 2020. The H is an ordinance, the third and final reading, amending chapter 2 administration, section 288. Offenses and penalties, providing for effective date and reading and publication and severance. I think somebody just hacked into me here.
Well, it says Trace Doris is doing something there.
It's Michael's son. That's Michael. That's his son.
Yeah, he's okay. Keep going.
Yeah.
That's all the comments on that?
Did you finish reading, sir? You
Well, I
disappeared.
thought I'm down at 3. Is that right?
Yes.
Start there.
Yes, sir.
Third and final reading, amending chapter 16, planning and development, article 4, landscaping, providing for severance, reading and effective date. Any comments? None heard. Item J, second read to amend chapter 2, administrative article 5, financial matters, changing approval requirements and allowing the city manager to approve all contracts less than 50,000, including change orders. And that's the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to
Make a motion to approve consent agenda as
Okay.
stated.
second?
Second.
Councilmember Solomon,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Number 10, These are the items for consideration. 10K is update and general discussion on the city of Port Aransas COVID-19 coronavirus response and recovery efforts.
Let me jump in. I'll start, Mayor, and Rick can jump in too with me. Real quick, the latest governor updates were this Monday on the 18th. Restaurants can open to 50%. Outside areas can be 100%. That starts tomorrow. Bars can open to 25% indoor capacity tomorrow and 100% of outdoor capacity. Starting May 31st, summer day camps can open. We're really struggling with what to do with our day camp. You know, we don't have any facility. We can't run it at the school. So right now, the best option that we're looking at for that is some type of, it's called camp in a box, where you actually get something delivered, and it's a lot of hands-on stuff, ideas to get you outside, maybe a Zoom meeting where you have a camp counselor, some stuff online. So it's kind of a combination of everything. So that's something we're looking at for summer camp.
Hey, David, real quick on that.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about the camp in the box, and I think it's a great way to at least get, stuff out there for kids. But obviously camp is such a big deal for parents who, are back at work. Do you think that there's a possibility of maybe at least for half of the session, maybe come July 1st, there's a way to open up camp or something like that? I know it all depends on the governor's.
We're going to look at this camp in a box goes until July 4th.
Uh-huh.
We got that next month and a week or a month and a half before school. So we are going to look at possibly something. Our biggest dilemma is the space, trying to keep kids outside for 4 hours a day in the summer is just crazy. And we're just really limited in, do we stick them in the civic center? And it's having a hard time. We got that next month and a week or a month and a half before school. So we are going to look at possibly something. What's going on?
We got somebody there with an open mic. Hey, what about talking to the Pack Theater and see if we can use their facilities during the day or something?
Colleen is really working hard on this, and there's a lot of intricacies to pull this off. Yeah, Beth.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is I know Colleen's working so hard and you're working hard, but there are so many of the parents that have full-time jobs that do not have childcare now if, the Merlin Academy is closed. I think the Pack Theater is a great idea, or possibly Civic Center, or maybe possibly even, having a big tent rented. Too bad we don't have a recreational center. That would have been a perfect place. But I just, I heard that today from a parent that it's going to be a video online. I know there's so many parents that are super stressed because they do not have the childcare and they have full-time jobs that are needing, to get back to work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big problems. If we tried to attempt a camp, we would basically just say, we will not be able to do any type of social distancing with your kids. We're going to be packing them on a bus with 40 campers. I mean, like right now they're saying 1 kid per seat. And we're like, all right, well, we can't do that in our 10-person van. So now we need a school bus to move around 30 kids so that they all can be in their own seat together. I mean, it's getting extremely complicated trying to pull camp off, because they go to Roberts Point, they go to the beach, they go to the pool. There's a lot of driving around. So if parents are willing to do it, we're going to have a no social distancing camp. That's kind of our option.
Well, I know y'all are working on it, and I appreciate that. Just for the community, like Beth said. I mean, we know you're working hard on it. So
we can call it Camp Herd Immunity.
Yeah, we're working it. Colleen is busting her butt trying to get it figured out, but it's
Hi, Colleen.
Hi, I can speak a little bit to it if you want some more details on the program that we've come up with for the next 6 weeks. I'm here to answer questions, or I can give you a summary, whatever you guys would like.
Yeah, I mean, maybe camp is just going to have to look different this year, you know, and not take as many field trips. I don't know. I know a survey came out, and I'm sure y'all have the results, but I know it's a real problem with some parents that have younger kids that were counting on the camp to open.
So we took a survey, we had 51 responses, and I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but about 22 families indicated that they were counting on camp for some sort of childcare. So that's been on the forefront of my mind, but we do not have permission to use the school campus. They have strict guidelines from the Texas Education Association and are barely figuring out how to do summer school for the kids that absolutely need it. And so I've talked with Dr. McKinney, and she's just not able to give us permission to be on campus at this time. We've looked into other facilities like the community center or the theater, but we don't have transportation. And so we would be borrowing a bus and only allowed to move about 10 kids at a time. So committing from a 7:30 to 5:30 program all in one room, not a.
Oh, I think she died. David, just
Yeah.
a question. Since we're kind of like working a deal with the school about you know, giving them a resource officer, don't we think we could kind of ask
Might
them?
need to do for logistics of childcare, you know, before it's too late. If they're having to return by June 24th, we want to give them ample warning.
Okay. I was making a suggestion, maybe since we're giving a school a resource officer, maybe we can kind of lean on them to give us a full-length school bus for a month or two.
I can look into it. There's a lot of like keeping 5-year-olds 6 feet apart. Pre-K is the youngest we have. There's a lot. It's just so many restrictions, and then the insurance that we're not going to have cross-contamination, and it's just
Sure.
it breaks my heart not to serve the community and not to have a memorable summer experience for these kids, but we don't have a full summer staff right now. I mean, there are so many moving parts on this one. I'm open to, you know, whatever direction you want me to pursue, but it has been, we feel like we've exhausted all options, and David and I, or Ken and I, we've all talked about things as much as I feel like we possibly can. And so I want to give parents the fair warning that they deserve.
Hey guys, Colleen, I serve on the board at PACT, and I didn't want to comment in that capacity. So I did a quick text out to 4 board members. They would all be supportive of allowing PACT to be used, just FYI. So that's a majority.
Well, so the other thing I didn't get into was the 6-week program that's already been committed to. We partnered with PASD and the ACE program to do these box kits. So there's 6 weeks of programming that has activity supplies that get delivered to the house, and then videos pre-recorded and live to do the instructions to the supplies in the kit. So there's recipes and crafts and games that are all scheduled. You know, these are the Monday activities all the way through the Friday activities. And so the ACE program is delivering 100 of those boxes each week. And so our staff has been helping to prepare those boxes and create the video components for them. And then our staff would also be facilitating online bunk rooms where the kids kind of meet up and get to socialize and get some more instruction. They can do things together that way, to play different games via Zoom. And so Ken has indicated that that's really where he's comfortable. And that's what we feel like the staff is capable of doing right now. So it's a tough conclusion to come to, but that's kind of where David and I fell this morning after a lot of discussion about all the different components: facility, transportation, staffing, training, liability, health screening, hiring a COVID coordinator. I mean, there are so many components that it just doesn't, I don't feel 100% confident that we can do it. And so if we do it, I want to do it well. I want to keep people safe. And so that's where we're at.
It just might be one of those summers where it's going to be a big babysitting summer, and people are going to have to find some people who, you know, I mean, I know that's hard because my children went to those summer camps, and it was important for, you know, for me to be able to let them do that. But I know y'all are working hard, so we appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, my whole career has been getting kids outside, giving them memorable experiences. I mean, that is where my passion lies. That's where my education is in. This is not a decision that we made lightly by any means. And it breaks my heart. It really does. And I know it's hard on Ken, but it feels like it's our only option at this point.
Yeah.
Colleen's coming in every morning. She brainstorms every night. Then her and I download every day. So we're trying to figure out how to solve this puzzle.
I know. And Colleen, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you and your staff, you know, just trying to keep up with, trying to get through these problems. But I just know my own daughter's a kindergarten teacher, and how, you know, they've been the last 2 months on the computer doing things. The parents who are needing to work, they don't even have time. I mean, yes, it's good for a 12-year-old that knows how to work a computer, or a 6-year-old, but as you know, you're younger, the parents don't have time to do these activities. You know, they're trying to, and so what's going to happen, I'm afraid of, I mean, these kids are going to get left alone. That's going to be a fact, because they have to put food on the table and work. You know, I don't know what the solution is. I mean, maybe, you know, thinking, you know, having a certain age at a certain time, you know, say 2 hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, you know, that might be 2 hours that they're not left at home alone, and alternating, you know, the older kids and the younger kids. Yes, if you combine them all together, it is going to be very hard. But just like Trinity is opening up June 2nd, and I'm sure they have things in place. It's just, we have so many working families on this island. I just would hate for us to not, I mean, the kids are nice, and I'm sure they're nice, but a lot of them are probably not going to get looked at if the kid was young enough that the parent doesn't have time to do it. You know, they've been doing it online for 8 weeks now.
Right. I understand all of that. I do. If you guys want, David and I can revisit tomorrow and redirect. My thought was, if a staff member started taking the FMLA leave on April 1st, they have to come back. And if they took every day for that FMLA leave, their return to work date would be June 24th. So we kind of were tossing around, you know, do we try and implement some type of essential employee care or some kind of criteria where if you can't go back to work unless your kid comes to camp, you qualify, and we do this reduced program with limited access for those who only need it. And and we were kind of worried about restricting access with taxpayer dollar funded programs. We weren't sure if that was something that would be get us in trouble or not.
Well, like I said, I appreciate you, Colleen. I know this is not easy.
It's a weird one, that's for sure.
All right, well, we'll keep hammering on this. Colleen and I we'll meet up again tomorrow, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. But let me keep going. So fireworks, we did make the call today that we're gonna go forward with the July 4th fireworks. So we have contacted our firework vendor. He was waiting on that call. So we are moving forward with fireworks. Testing, Commissioner Chesney and the county came out. Rick, what was it, Tuesday? You want to give a quick update on that?
Sure. They had the Texas National Guard came out and they did one of the mobile sites here in Port Aransas. Commissioner Chesney kind of led the charge in getting that structured. We got them all set up Tuesday morning. They ran from 9 to 5, ran 128 tests. So I believe that I'll be able to get the results probably. Usually it's about 4 days, so it ought to be, if not tomorrow, hopefully next week, and I'll be happy to share them. We won't have any specific names because of HIPAA, but we should have, like I said, how what the results of those tests were. And I don't really have a sense of where all the people came from. I know that some came from Aransas Pass, some came from Corpus. So I really don't, like I said, I really can't tell you how many of them were local. But like I said, a pretty good steady crowd, and we thank Commissioner Chesney, and it was a nice effort.
Yeah, so other departments, we are still continuing, various levels of social distancing, the library here at City Hall, police department, marina, we're all doing the social distancing thing, continuing that. The biggest are probably the pool and what Colleen's going through. And so we're continuing to alter those as we get more guidance from the governor and his team. CARES Act funding. The CARES Act funding came through. It was kind of funny because the deadline on this was back in April, and Fran and I worked until about 11 o'clock one night, but then so few people knew about the deadline that they opened it up to everybody. So now it's opened up to everybody. Even though we were probably the first ones in Texas to sign up for it. But so it's basically the way it works out. It's like a $55 allocation per resident in your city. So I don't know what number they use, but our allocation is sitting at $228,745. Now, it cannot be used for lost revenue streams. It has to be, it'll be pretty strict. We can use it for COVID, any COVID related expense. So like, for example, if we have to rent 2 buses for summer camp, that would be something that qualified. So we haven't earmarked what exactly we're going to use this money for. Some of the bigger cities that, like, for example, Corpus, they're probably sitting on about $18 million. Now they probably, I know Corpus ran an EDC grant program, so that is something that they're going to reimburse themselves with. That's primarily what it's for. It's for any expenditures that you had, and if you're a county or big city, you're going to have a lot of health district expenditures. But it's also targeted for these EDCs that are giving out grants to small businesses. So that's a big component of that, which we didn't do. Our number's pretty small. And we think we will use it up. We can use it we can target overtime hours, employee hours. So we are working on that. We have until December to use it. So we want to figure out, how can we use it? We know we can use it, but we just need to figure out how we're going to allocate it. I think Darla crunched some numbers, and maybe we've only used about 30K so far. But things like summer camp, where you have a COVID employee that's doing programming on social distancing and all that, that's something that would qualify. So we are working on that. So county numbers, county numbers are somewhat high over the last couple weeks just because of they had two really big hits, one at the meatpacking plant and one at the halfway house. So the increase in numbers over the last 2 weeks are primarily those two sources. I don't know, Mayor, what was today's count, like 8?
Today was 4.
Today was 4.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yes,
yesterday
the
was
trend is
8.
back. The trend is back pretty modest.
Yeah, it's trending back. Yeah, last week it spiked pretty high, but I think we're seeing a low trend. So,
And a lot of the people that are in the halfway house worked at the meat.
yeah, they even worked at the meatpacking plant. So, yeah, so we're seeing that. We're looking forward to a busy weekend. Hearing a lot of the rentals have sold out. So I know retail's been, having an uptick. So we're hearing some positive things on that over the last couple of weeks. But we're expecting some big crowds. Everything's ready. And if you guys see anything out of place this weekend, let me know, and we'll get our crews on it. We're all here this weekend. So that's it. Does anyone have any COVID questions?
Where are we in terms of the National Guard that did the testing? How many days?
Oh, Rick was thinking, what do you think, Rick? Probably maybe
48 hours is what they said. So 2 to 3 days is what they're telling us before they'll release those.
Yeah, so Friday if we're lucky, more likely Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, thanks.
Any
Hey,
other questions?
And to your point on that, because that was one of the questions I asked for David. Like you said, it was probably open to anybody to go. So when the numbers come back, do they get reported to that person's individual county? So like our Port A people and Nueces County people will get reported to them, and then if we had some people from Aransas Pass get tested, they'll get reported to San Pat, Aransas, whatever. Okay.
Well, whatever their county of registration, when they register to be tested. So
Yeah.
Okay.
But Rick, they're going to give you an overall number of all the people tested, aren't they? Do you think?
they're supposed to. Yeah. It'll be public information, but they break it down by the National Guard mobile site. So, and then it'll all feed into the overall numbers.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say also, if we can use some of that money for the camp, the CARES money, that'd be really nice.
You bet.
Any comments? Okay, now where were we?
Item L, Mayor.
Yeah, I see it. Discuss and take possible action to waive late penalties and not cut utilities due to the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic for May 2020.
Darla?
So in March and April, we did not charge any late fees for utilities, nor did we do any cutoffs. And so to continue in that into May, if you so desire, we have to have your approval, because today was actually yesterday was the due date. So we haven't posted penalties yet for May. So we just wanted to know what your desires were.
How many people have fallen behind or are scheduled to be cut off that were not because of this?
You know what? I have not run that report.
Do you think is it anybody? Is it a couple people? A lot? Just no idea.
I mean, we typically have about 15, 20 cut off a month normally. Sometimes it can be 40. We don't, cutoffs are for gas. They're not necessarily for sanitation. We have been picking toters up when they get real far behind, but it's gas. So, I mean, I can run some reports, but.
I'm just more curious. I am okay with going through May. I think if you're not paid up by June, then maybe we need to revisit it, but I would be okay to make a motion to extend it for May.
Oh, I would too. I think we ought to do that.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Fran, call the roll.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salamine,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Item M is a resolution recognizing the World Migratory Bird Day and congratulating the Bird City Community Group and appropriate city staff on the Bird City, Texas certification, authorizing staff to set a future date of celebration, setting terms, conditions, and effective date. Who wants to speak to that?
Hi, Ray.
Hey, Joan. Did you want to say anything, Joan, before we get started? Okay. So this announcement is a little past due to the current situation, but we thought bringing it up would be a happy thing for everyone. We've been certified as one of 4 Bird City, Texas communities. It's a program, brand new program through Texas Parks and Wildlife Department and Audubon. And basically they wanted to recognize communities that are doing a lot to make birds safe in urban areas, engage the community, create habitat, and do different things that are bird friendly with development, and having parks and all those things helps too. So Colleen had started, and we got it submitted this year, and it's Houston, Dallas, Bastrop, and Port Aransas that were recognized. So we have a community group. We had to form a group of partners that are going to execute all these actions basically. And we have about 20 community members, businesses and organizations, state agencies, the University of Texas, all the partners that are working towards a lot of our efforts that we're doing at the Nature Preserve. And we've committed to doing 31 actions, some of which we're already doing, us as me with the Nature Preserve or other groups in the community. And then we've committed to doing some new things. So one of those new things is, and one of the required actions was to have a city resolution for World Migratory Bird Day, which actually has passed, but we couldn't have an event this year because of the situation. So, so it's celebrated in May and October of every year. So basically each year we need to pass a resolution to celebrate World Migratory Bird Day. And so we're going to be planning an event in October, probably the Birding Center or something. And then next May we'll either coordinate with something that we're already doing, like the Big Sit or other events that we have going on, or create a new event. Does anyone have any questions?
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we pass a resolution recognizing World Migratory Bird Day and
Second?
congratulating the city and Ray.
Thank you guys for the support.
Beth, was that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mayor-
Call roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes, great job, Ray.
Councilmember Salamine,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon.
Absolutely.
Motion carried.
Okay, N is an ordinance. It's the third and final reading. Finding VC 20-0029, 61-foot wide, approximately 125-foot unimproved street right-of-way. That would be the west portion of Avenue L, adjacent to Avenue L, owned by Norman Granberry. It is not necessary for public use as a thoroughfare, providing the vacation, abandonment, and closure of the street and releasing any and all public rights, title, and interest. Do I hear a motion or discussion?
Yeah,
I
Mayor,
just
let me give you, this was pulled from the consent agenda, which it would normally stay on the third and final reading, but it went through the first two readings with no objections, but it's been policy that for a vacation like this, where there's no other great public benefit other than getting it on the tax roll, and this is not a terribly valuable piece of property according to the appraisal district, but ultimately we received a protest from the adjacent property owner requesting it not be closed. And again, to be consistent with our policy, I just can no longer, from the staff perspective, recommend approval of the vacation. So that's why it was pulled from the consent agenda, to just make that. So we'll recommend that it not be vacated. There's really no harm, no foul. There wasn't much tax revenue to be gained. So that's the staff's position.
So I'm sorry, Rick, has the staff's position changed from approval to not recommended? Is that correct?
That is correct, Councilman.
And the next question was, if on the last meeting, didn't we say that if we cut or we close the property, half of it would go to the birding center property? Is that correct?
Yeah, it does.
Well, yeah, have it go to the city, adjacent
okay.
to the birding property.
So,
But I mean, technically it's a street, so it's ours.
As far as anyway.
Right, but if you wanted to, if the street was closed and we wanted to expand the birding center for additional parking or extra viewing, we would have that option. Is that correct?
We'd probably be able to use it for that anyway.
Okay. Well, just the reason was I read the protest letter, and basically the reason the gentleman was protesting was just because he wanted the person to buy his property and not get free access to it.
Yeah, I mean, that could very well be, but again, we've really not parsed why they object. If they're adjacent property owner or an impacted, then that's just our position. But that's just staff's position.
Okay.
I did, as a side note, I did talk to Joan. She wasn't, Joan, you can chime in, but I did talk to with the impact of the birding center. I don't think there was great remorse that this vacation was going to be recommended to be denied.
No, I had a lot of issues with it anyway, and I don't have to bring them up, I guess, unless it comes up again, but mostly issues with buffers for the birding site and visual. Well, I looked at the site. If you've ever looked at it, it's mostly wetlands and there's only a little bit of upland, and it's going to take a lot to even make that work. And visual impairment of getting in and out of that wetland park. And the fact that I guess Colleen is working so hard to buy properties around the nature preserve as buffers to try to keep that buffering there, and this is a natural buffer, so we should keep it.
Right. Well, I mean, but the city would still maintain half of that property as a buffer if we were to close it.
Right, but we probably should have the whole thing as a buffer.
Okay.
Especially since it's mostly wetlands in there.
Right.
Sure.
Any other comments?
Well, then
It's gone
I'll
to
make-
the consent agenda without issue unanimously, and now we have to kill it or approve it, basically, is what we're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
well, I guess when someone just finally objected to it, and it's probably why.
I understand that part. It's just, this has never happened. I mean, we've never had something like this where someone's come kind of late to the game and had an objection, and then staff has changed their opinion. So that's what I'm just trying to be clear. So,
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, we had no objections until somebody, like I said,
Objected.
impacted party objected, and like I said, that's kind of consistent. It's rare.
And since they are a downstream person, we would be cutting off their entire access to their property, and we have never approved that.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens here. I make a motion to deny the closing of the 61-foot alleyway.
I second it.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Solomon,
Yes.
Member Owens,
Yes, to deny.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number, or item 0 is a final plat. Actually, it's preliminary and final plat. 0970, preliminary and final plat of Mahia Bay CUD, being a replat of lots 1, 2, 9, 10, 98, and lots 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, block 99. State land surveys on Mustang Island, which is recorded in the General Land Office of Texas in Austin, Texas. The proper location is 220 block of Paradise Point Drive, and the applicant is the Fifth Quarter Investment LLC.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the properties you drive into Paradise Point. It'll be on your right-hand side, and it actually, it borders up to the rear of the first row of Paradise Point houses to kind of give you, and the exhibit kind of demonstrates the location, but I believe it's a 74 is the buildable lot count, cottage unit development. The lots are all 3,000 feet or larger. So that's, like I said, although the cuts could go smaller, this is like I said, pretty consistent with a larger lot size cut, albeit a pretty good number of properties. It are some wetlands that are delineated and taken into account on the exhibits that you see. So none of the buildable lots that are shown on the plat fall into that, although there's, like I said, we still put the final burden on the developer to ensure that no wetlands are being impacted. We don't have authority over that, but like I said, we do ensure that they've contacted the Army Corps, and the Army Corps is informed of development. So we'll put that back on them. But other than that, it's laid out. It completely conforms to our ordinances with respect to a cottage unit development. So staff, planning and zoning approved it. Staff recommends approval.
It looks like part of the entrance is going to go through wetlands, right there where they have Park 1. And I don't know why they didn't avoid that wetland.
I think that's the park designation is why they've designated that as a park, not buildable.
Well, they may have to get a permit for using that, though. I'm thinking, because if you look at the wetland designation, it's more than just that park.
Right, and Joan, there were some smaller portions that the project engineer did acknowledge were wetlands, but we're confident would fall into the nationwide, the various national permitting. And again, we make it very clear that they're still subject to those all those requirements, albeit us not having jurisdiction over the wetlands.
Well, and it looks like they're going to get rid of a whole lot of pepper trees.
Nope.
I assume that's a good thing. Yeah.
Won't miss them at all.
Any other comments?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomon,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item P is a no dune permit, PFDP or BFDP 200767. Take action to confirm that application submitted by the Beachgate Owners Association for the construction of amenities and general site for a property location located at 2000 On the Beach Drive is consistent with the city's coastal management plan.
Thank you, Mayor. This no dune permit was a little bit unusual in the fact that the engineers did a very, very excellent job in deliberately working around all the critical dunes for these amenity areas. And by that, there's a pool site, there's a lounge area, a fire pit area, a hammock area. So these little parcels within the property. So like I said, it was a little bit unusual in that respect. But with that said, they did avoid any critical dunes in their design efforts. And it does conform, and as such does conform to our coastal management plan. Planning and zoning approved, we recommend approval.
Any comments?
Motion to approve.
Okay, second.
Second.
I think that was Wendy.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomon,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
motion carried.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, Dave, with your permission, I'm going to go catch up with my family and celebrate my son actually finishing his first year of college.
All right.
Oh, good for you.
So I'll excuse myself, let you guys finish.
Congrats.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, we're on, let's see here. Q. This is a resolution approving change order number 5, Roberts Point Park and bulkhead damages with Highland Construction LP in the total amount of $19,951, authorizing future budget amendments for our budget of 2019-20, and authorizing the city manager to sign all documents associated with the said change order.
Yes, this is Benjamin Castleberry here with Del Sol Consulting, part of the disaster recovery management team. As we were doing repairs at Robert Point Park, we've noticed some unforeseen damages, particularly the electrical feeding to the observation tower and the small pavilion. There was also some plaster that needed to be fixed that was related to Hurricane Harvey, and some lighting at the small pavilion. All of these repairs, we foresee them to be reimbursed by FEMA through the Hurricane Harvey program.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Okay, go ahead. Who was that?
Sorry, me. Motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomon,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Abstain.
Mayor Bouillon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item R is a discussion and take action on reconfirming Hurricane Harvey CDBG infrastructure funds for city projects.
So we're getting to a point with FEMA and working through our mitigation projects and the project at the fire station, finalizing costs and being able to move forward with the CDBG grant. What we're utilizing these funds for is to do the 25% match on our FEMA mitigation. So we're using these funds to match some of the work we're doing with FEMA. And we just want to confirm that these are still the projects we want to move forward with. We've worked with David Parsons and the city of Port Aransas, our staff here with Del Sol and Broadus, and the architects and engineers here that serve Port Aransas. And we looked at these projects using CDBG funding to help with rebuilding the fire station, adding the extension wall at Charlie's Pasture Pier bulkhead onto it to raise it to mitigate from tidal surge, and doing around 9 different drainage projects within the community and using these fundings for that. And we just want to reconfirm that those are how we want to utilize this money.
Ben, I got a question. I mean, is there any other way we would use the money? Any other projects that were on the back burner that we are not aware of, or we just?
I mean, we exercised pretty much all the different ways that we could utilize this money, where we could, maximize the use of this resource of money in the community. And, with the constraints on CDBG, along with, a lot of the stuff that we're already doing in our recovery efforts with FEMA, these are the 3 projects that we think we can actually use these funds with.
Okay. Works for me. I don't know what everybody else considers, but I'm okay with going ahead.
Well, I think if we can fix some drainage issues and we've got the funds to do it, then I think that's a good plan.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah, I agree, fixing drainage.
Well,
So Dave, is this a motion or is this a?
No, it's no motion.
it's discussion.
Yeah, just discussion.
Okay.
David, is there anything else you want to add to what I brought up?
No, I think that was a good, we just wanted to bring it back up. It's been a while, just to give you guys an update. We probably could have done it in the next item, but we just wanted a separate update issue on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, item R,
S.
correct?
S.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Item S is a presentation by Broadus and Associates and give us an update on hurricane repairs.
Yeah, so it's been a few months, and the review. I mean, we have a lot of progress going on. I'm going to start with the construction, then talk about some of the design projects in the design phase, and then at the end talk about the financials. We've completed 3 projects really in the last month. The community center, we have repaired all the Harvey related damages there. That project's been completed. Ansel Brundret bathroom, that project has been completed, along with the associated damages with the surface parking lot over there. So along with that, City Hall, we have a couple different things we have to do with the roof. We have some flashing and coping with the roof and replacement of doors. And then that project will be completed with the repairs to City Hall. And the big projects that we're seeing right now in the community, as we're rebuilding the Chamber of Commerce building, things are going very well. Barcom is doing a very, very good job in EDR, helping us manage that project. EDR is the architect, and that project is scheduled to be completed at the end of August. Right now, you can pretty much see the structure's up, the roof's up, and they're now starting to build out the interior. Jerry McDonald Ball Field has been moving very quickly with the contractor Gorley, and that is scheduled to be completed by the end of June, that project. The majority of the work we have left is really the fielding and the sodding. The lights are up. The exterior structure's up. We got to do a little bit of interior build out. So that will be done at the end of June. And
Sorry, Ben, can I interrupt you for 2 seconds? Dave, are we going to have a Little League this year on that field?
No, you mean, well, Little League's already over.
or softball or whatever on the field?
Whoa, like the summer softball league? No,
Yeah.
not just yet. No.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, Ben.
No, no problem, no problem. And Roberts Point Park and the bulkhead there, the bulkhead and the sidewalk where everybody, you know, sets up to fish, that piece of the project is set to be completed along with the observation tower and the small pavilion by the end of June. It's set to be completed July 1st. So those projects are ready to wrap up. New projects that are coming up, ready soon to be advertised for bid. End of next week, urban engineering will have completed 100% design in all of the piers. And we have to work with the environmental, with FEMA a little bit more on that project, but we're aggressively pushing them so we can get that project out on the street and getting these fishing piers back. Along with that, the high pressure gas line that runs along the highway, we are set to advertise that project to bid next month. So that's a $7.2 million project, the high pressure system there at the gas line. Along with that, the fire station, we just finished 30% design. Along with that, we are working on an appeal with FEMA to realign what we feel is the right cost and square footage for the building. We need a couple more items from FEMA, just primarily their cost estimation on the building so that we can finalize our appeal, which is, it's positive because when we're getting to this process, FEMA finally has to make a decision. And along with that, we have submitted our first appeal to what FEMA is saying they'll give us for square footage and cost for the public safety building. And we submitted that first appeal this week. And what that means for us, hopefully we can get to a resolution quickly, but in the next 90 days, we should have finished all of our negotiations with FEMA on our public safety building and know exactly what we have square footage wise and money wise to move this forward aggressively into the design and construction phase. Public Works Garage, Department of Public Works Garage, we're going to have 65% design on that project by the end of May. And that is where we stand in our design projects and pushing them to get onto the street. And the last piece is the financials. And the most important piece, especially now in the last 3 months, we have received $590,000. And in the next, by the end of June, right now we have $3.1 million requested through FEMA and the state for reimbursement. And we're projecting by the end of June that $3.1 million, it should be in the bank account of Port Aransas. You guys should have received that funding back. And that's where we are in the recovery.
That's great.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, Ben, real quick, how many projects did you have to go through the appeal process on just to move forward on?
Right now, we have one official appeal, and that's the public safety building. And the fire station, we've requested that by June, we have all the information we need, and we're hoping to get that appeal process moving in hopefully June, maybe July. So our two primary buildings, we're going to have to go through appeal process. It's unfortunate, but it's a place where we finally have to make. It's a place where FEMA finally has to make decisions, and they have to go toe to toe with our architects and our engineers, who I'm confident in everything they provided that we've justified exactly what the city and the community deserves.
Well,
Thank you very much.
congratulations on getting there. I know that's not the way you wanted to do it, or we had to do it, but at least we're moving forward.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody's patience in this process. It's a long process. And it's unfortunate because it doesn't have to be.
Thank you, Ben.
Yep.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Ben.
Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay, I'm going to give us a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Oh, ho, ho.
Too early to be yawning.
Man, I'm sleepy.
It's these short meetings that do it.
8:24.
You got about 20 more minutes, maybe
Yeah.
less.
We'll get out of here.
And then we have dinner afterwards that I have.
I hope.
Not me. Not late at night. My wife would chew my head off. No, actually, she would cut it off and throw it out in the yard.
Maybe you can run by Waterbury on your way home.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that active shooter thing was pretty scary this morning. They've had too many of those in Corpus this
Yeah.
year.
I saw it said it was a terrorism related. Do you know anything more about it?
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was terror related.
And I don't know what that means. If they found some kind of device in people or just, I don't know.
Some kind of, maybe some writing that he had, or
Yeah.
some, pamphlets, materials, whatever.
There's some crazies out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, there are.
Everyone knows we're still live on YouTube, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
What does that mean?
It's still going out to the public.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Question is anybody watching?
Not doubt it.
I hope they're watching and seeing
Yeah.
what we're doing.
You would hope so. Are we all here? Can we start back up?
Everybody here?
Here.
Bruce is here.
Bruce is here.
I think we're all here.
All right.
Joan is here. Everybody's here. Okay. Next.
T.
Yeah. What's wrong with my, you got to move me up? No, down. That's the item. Okay, you ready?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Resolution authorizing an interlocal agreement between the city of Port Aransas, the Port Aransas Independent School District, for the School Resource Officer Program, setting responsibilities for each entity, term fees for services and reimbursement and miscellaneous provisions, and directing the city manager to sign said agreement. Any questions?
I have a question, and it's just more of a, I know we agreed with the school last year if they were going to see if they could find some kind of grant. Did we ever get any that ever? No.
I never heard of it. I never heard from, I'm sure that with COVID-19, it's not gotten very far.
No.
Well, they had attempted to get one through the COG, but it didn't materialize last year.
Okay. And are we giving him 2 resource officers or just one?
One.
I thought we.
It's one.
Just one.
Okay.
I mean, I just have a comment, and I mean, I think personally, as a parent in watching this resources officer through the past year, I think it's been a real blessing into the school, to the parents, and I think it's been a tremendous partnership. Anything different from that, Chief Burrows?
No, it's worked out really well for us. I just want to remind the council that this is even though it falls on the police department budget, we have agreed that this officer does not count against my staffing levels. And the only consideration you all may want to consider is this is a 2-year extension. And with the uncertainty in the budget of whether or not you want to just do a 1 year and then renew it for another year after we have a better grip on the budget next spring.
Dave, what do you think?
I think we renew it for 2 years.
Yeah, whatever you guys are comfortable with. I mean,
I'm comfortable with that. 2 years is a good thing.
Well, we definitely got the right guy doing it.
Yes, we do.
I make a motion to approve resolution authorizing 2-year renewal.
Second it.
All row.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomon,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item U is discuss and take action on setting a date for the goals the Council Goes workshop for budgeting purposes. Wow, here we are again.
It's that time. So I apologize. I have gotten trained very well on iCompass this month, and I messed up and your financials got put in the wrong place. But the we need to set a time for our all-day Budget Council Goals Workshop. Last year we did it July the 8th. So we didn't know what date y'all might be interested in. The 4th is on a Saturday, so it kind of changes the month of July, but we're probably going to do it in the council chambers again, is what David and I discussed. It's a little bit better acoustics than the community center.
What are you suggesting again, Darla?
Well, maybe the week after July 4th, that is the 6th through the 10th. I don't know what day of week you're interested in. The 8th is a Wednesday, the 9th is a Thursday.
Is there?
One of my 4 vacations that I scheduled this year, all the other 3 got canceled. It's still pending for that week. So I'm going to be gone, maybe leaving on the 8th. So I would pick Monday or Tuesday, the 6th or the 7th, if that's okay with the rest of council, because I certainly want to be there.
I mean, it could be the week before the 4th if y'all want, but
Well, say, is there any way it can be late June? Because it just seems like, at least for me, July gets harder and harder to get away from the store for a full day. And I know that makes it harder for you because you got to put all that stuff together, but.
well, no, we're not really pulling together any, we're pulling together projects, but we're not pulling together any budgeted numbers because we don't have our tax roll till July 25th.
Right.
So it's just your goals of what y'all are interested in. Of course, we'll talk about where we are with recovery and needs for those projects. But I mean, I don't think David has a problem with the last week of June 30th is a Tuesday. July 1st is a Wednesday. I don't know. We usually start about 9 in the morning.
When is that?
Yeah, I say the 29th Monday or the Tuesday the 30th.
Yeah.
The Tuesday the 30th would help, would be better because it gives us a good day, whereas Monday.
Yeah, that's true. How about the June 30th?
Yeah, I think the 30th is doable.
The 30th, I cannot come. The 30th. The 29th or the 1st.
Chief said he's out the 30th by the last June.
I'm going to be out that whole week. My son's moving that week.
Well, that means no police projects that budget cycle.
Yeah, you're not getting anything anyway.
Just if we can do it in June or the very first day of July, it just gets harder for me to get out of the store in July to, if that's anything possible.
July 1st?
Or the 29th of June.
Or
Joan, does the 1st of July work for you?
Sure does.
How about the 1st of July, everybody?
What time would that start, guys?
It starts at like 9 a.m.
Okay, because I can get my payroll done by then. So just want to make sure on that because the 1st being a payroll day.
All right, well, let's shoot for July 1st.
Okay.
And Dad, in accordance with that, Darla, we need our ideas. I mean, not that we're all going to have suggestions to spend millions of dollars, but I mean, we want that information to be able to kind of put on the.
We will send you an email in order to get that packet out. We're probably going to need it around the 19th to give us a week to pull things together.
Okay. And then our council meeting is the 18th. So we'll get another maybe reminder right before that or something.
Yes. And David and I will get together on what date we decide in order to get us. We need your stuff so that we have time to pull together how that looks.
Yeah. Okay.
So. That works.
Okay.
Yes. Any more comments?
I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to meet July 1st for budget workshop.
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Solomon,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon.
Yes,
Motion carried.
okay.
We're on V, Mayor.
Staff reports. Let's do a monthly, quarterly report. Finance with all those negative numbers.
Well, you have your packet. Of course, the numbers that we're down in right now are occupancy tax. What we collect in April, remember, is for the month of March. So the month of March compared to last year was down 33%. I do still feel like there's some properties that haven't paid yet. Unfortunately, we can't, not unfortunately, but we do not penalize for 60 days. And then interest doesn't kick in until the 90 days. And that's kind of state law. We can't bill them for interest till later. So, I think there's probably still some people out there to pay. Our due date for hotel tax is the 20th. So we have collected so far for the month of May, $96,000. Last year, May was $278,000. And of course, that's for the that's for what was rented in April. So it's down about 65% compared to last year. But May, we opened up pretty earlier than we anticipated. So I think May is going to look pretty darn good. Now, we're not going to get those sales tax numbers for May until at least July, because vendors pay the state in June and we get it in July.
But I mean, you had that much rental and hotel motel for April? I'm surprised.
Well, and we report on a cash basis. So that could be some people that were paying for March. And, we don't accrue it to the month of the true rental, because that's just kind of it's a big task to do. We don't, because we can't accrue it till they report. So we do report that on a cash basis. So
I would have guessed that that's probably a lot of holdover, because I can't imagine. There can't, I mean, I know that the hotels still could, have essential workers, but there couldn't have been that many of them.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It should be holdover. And I think a lot of the people for their March tax delayed and paid in May because they weren't sure how long they were going to be closed down. So I think once it got opened back up, they paid this month for their March rentals because they realized, okay, now we can make our payroll. We can do things. They didn't have to use the tax money to float them. So that's probably the case. As far as sales tax, we were down 15% for the month of March compared to the prior year. So we're down about 30% for the fiscal year to date, the first 6 months of the year. So I think that's going to bounce back too. But as I said, we will not get our May sales until July. So if you have any other questions.
Okay, thank you, Darla.
No problem.
Thank you, Darla.
Thanks, Darla.
Chief.
Yeah, you can see from our numbers that the virus impacted our operations even more than the hurricane did. We had 4 arrests for the entire month and only 1,800 events. So we spent most of the month manning lockdown posts, and with the limited number of people in town, there just was not much police activity.
Kind of overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Overwhelming.
So Chief, it's picking up now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like pre-storm spring breaks every weekend.
That's what it.
The mayor and I were driving on the beach yesterday, and this big truck pulls in front of us. I was just sitting there going, oh no, here it comes. And we get down to Beachgate, and the guy just does this giant 360.
Oh, nuts.
Oh, just spitting sand everywhere. Of course, I had to pull up to the guy and say something.
As I hope you called him in.
No, there was, well, up the road was the police with his lights flashing, so the guy slowed down. And then I pulled up next to the guy and said, hey, that's a $500 burnout you just did. But yeah, it's gonna be, I think we're in for a busy summer.
Yep.
Yes, crazy summer.
Yeah, kids are starting about midday Thursday and ending about midday Tuesday.
And they all act
So-
like a spring break crowd. It's just strange.
It's not, I mean, it's more family oriented. We don't have all the teenagers and college students, but as far as sheer numbers, it is definitely spring break. Every weekend's a holiday weekend.
It is a lot of people who are suffering from cabin fever and just getting out and going crazy for a little bit. So
Hey, in that regard, Dave, one thing we didn't touch on, but it does have to do with people and numbers and the chief's report. So are we going to be able to have some of our other major draws into the city, like for the summer? So is Deep Sea Roundup? Have you heard things like that? Are those going to be, because I know those are also big, big weekends for us, and I haven't heard anything concrete about any of those.
Well, what we've told people was, because the governor hasn't released any he hasn't relinquished any allowances on groups and all that. So we've reached out to all the tournaments that are on these, that are our return, and we're just saying, hey, you guys need to book. And they're like, are we on? And we're like, well, we want to write you guys in for the week so that it's yours, but it's up to you guys. We're just telling everyone that we're going by the governor's orders, but we think you'll be able to host your tournament, but it's up to you guys to, make sure you're booking it and you're getting it ready and going through the motions. We don't want to be on the hook for being the ones canceling them. So it's we're definitely telling them this is subject to the governor.
Well, they're definitely doing planning right now for the Deep Sea Roundup, which is that weekend after the 4th. You won't
Yeah. But you guys are moving forward, right, Joan? I mean,
move forward with the teams and planning and all that until.
Well, and I had heard that they were canceling some of them, like the outboard tournament had made the decision not to have their tournament, which, benefits the fire department, and some of the emergency response. So I'm just curious. Yeah. Appreciate that update.
Yeah, we're not canceling them. We're letting them make the call, but we're kind of urging them to at least get, contact with us, tell us if you're going to do it or not so that we can, go to someone else, but we're trying to get them to move forward.
Anything else? Okay. Any comments? Item 12.
I got one. I was just going to say, I don't know. I know we were looking at a possible ambulance purchase and we all put that on hold because we didn't know how the summer is going to be. I think maybe we want to, I think Dave said you want to possibly wait till next year. But maybe we want to revisit that after the summer when if we see how the summer's gone a little better, get some tax revenue. Any thoughts?
I think we need to take a look at it again.
Okay. Well, I mean, so we don't have to do it now, but I think we should probably look at it in July or something.
We'll have a better idea, Bruce, I think in a month or two, and then we can bring it back. I want to go that route.
Okay.
Well, I would like to welcome Shannon and welcome to the long.
Where is she?
I'm here.
Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Yeah, welcome to craziness.
It's gonna be fun.
Welcome aboard. Okay.
And I think I mentioned it earlier, but hopefully our next meeting will be live in the chamber.
I sure hope so.
I hope so.
With or without mask.
Either way, I hate the Zoom stuff.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, any other item? We're adjourned.
All
Thank
right.
you,
good night.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Everybody,
Good night.
thank y'all.
Night.